Welcome to the very first episode of Her Game, Our Take podcast.
I'm Charlie, and I will be one of your hosts. I have no deep qualifications other than watching way too much football. And with me is.
And I am Rumyana. I will be your co host. I am a sports journalist. My passion for football goes back almost 12 years now. But funnily enough, given the immense popularity of the men's game, that is all I used to watch for years. But then last summer, actually, I rediscovered women's football and the magic that girls and women create on the pitch. I watched the entire Euros last summer, and the rest is history.
Yeah, we want to move some of the spotlight on women's football and, yeah, talk about our observations of stuff we noticed on and off the pitch. In today's episode, we're diving into the first leg of the UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinals. We will briefly cover Wolfsburg Lyonnais as well as El Clasico, and then go into more detail for both the London derby as well as yesterday's tie between Bayern and Manchester United.
We've got some massive matchups to get into, including the London Derby, Arsenal versus Chelsea, which is currently one of the biggest rivalries in the women's game. And of course, Manchester United taking on Bayern Munich. So, as Charlie mentioned, we've got some massive matchups to get into. And these will be like real tests of where these teams stand at the top level. We'll be breaking down the key moments, tactics, standout players, and what these results will mean heading into the second legs. So plenty to get into. Let's start with Wolfsburg, shall we, Charlie?
Yeah, so in Tuesday's tie, Wolfsburg had Lyonnais as their guests. Wolfsburg had the better opportunities, although Lyonnais had more possession and shots, but yeah, couldn't do much out of those. It was a game of many turnovers, particularly early on. I noticed like very high pressing, very aggressive from both sides. To just give a rundown, went up 1-0 pretty early by courtesy of Berenstein's deflected shot on the edge of the box. No chance for Entleve since, like I said, Lyonnais defender deflected that one. And then we went into total madness for 10 minutes between the 20th and 30th minute. So, first, long ball to Enderman. She's in front of Endless goal, but Enderman cannot control the ball and did not record a shot there. In the 23rd minute, a square after a set piece situation to Hegerberg, who doesn't hit the ball properly at the edge of the 6 yard box. 27th minute, Chavinga shot with a potential handball violation there. Wolfsburg got very lucky not to not see Lyonnais getting awarded a pen there. 28th minute, a shot from the 6 yard line by Domonet. And in the 29th minute, Berenstein for Wolfsburg misses an absolute sitter, 3 or 4 meters out wide after a lovely delivery from Svenja Hood from the right hand side. The game cooled down a bit afterwards. Lyon being dominant, particularly in the first 15 minutes after halftime, but lack precision and efficiency in front of goal. The best opportunity they probably came by courtesy of Diani, who hit the post in the 59th. And then in the last half an hour, Wolfsburg allowed Lyon a bit of space out wide, and then got the ball there by the offensive wingers tracking back quite a lot, both Enderman and Hoot and later Kurasikai. Yes, so that was basically it. Like Wolfsburg being very efficient and honestly pretty lucky to get away with a win, in my opinion. Um,
That's super interesting because I personally expected Lyon to get like the whole a whole of the game. I didn't expect this result at all. I don't know about you.
yeah, to be honest, it was like I said, it was also a really lucky result for Wolfsburg, in my opinion. Um, they had some interesting ideas, like Pedamore's playing over the third, which is, player A wants to get the ball to player B and uses player C as like a bridge. And Pedamore from the number six position using either an outer centre back when Wolfsburg was in the back three, or the fullback when Wolfsburg was in the back four to get to the winger. that was generally like an interesting thing about this game. Like a lot of play over the wings. Like I said, the best chances of Wolfsburg came either after delivery from the wing or from a winger cutting in with Enderman. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we got an exciting second leg coming up,
yeah,
don't you think?
yeah.
Yeah.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts like? What do you predict for the second leg next week?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I feel like Lyon will get this one either by like 2-0 or 2-1, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Wolfsburg will present a surprise.
Honestly, next week in Lyon, um, I I'm pretty sure that Lyonnais will persevere. Um, like I said, Wolfsburg got lucky. They had a really good fighting spirit in this game, but I watch a lot of Bundesliga and I've seen the vulnerability of this defense. And yeah, they really got lucky and they had a good Stina Johannes in goal, but also Lyon just had a lot of good opportunities and didn't and couldn't keep the shot down. Like I think it's only 3 shots on target out of 19 from Lyon, and most of those were taken in the box. Um,
Yeah,
and when you see like players like Hegerberg, she will not squander a chance like she did
definitely.
this leg second time.
Yeah, definitely. I think let's jump now probably briefly to El Clasico, but the women's El Clasico, which happened yesterday, the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona, which I'll summarize quickly. Well, as we and most people who follow women's football know, Barcelona obliterated their rivals. It was 6-2, and even as guests. So pretty much they're probably already through, unless Real Madrid pull out a miracle. They absolutely dominated yesterday, this first leg of the quarterfinals. Even in the 6 minute was the first
Yes.
goal came. Yeah, when Eva Pajor opened like the scoring. Then 6 minutes later, another goal. So it was already 2-0 for Barca. Then towards the 30th minute, Madrid fought back or tried to fight back. They pulled one back, Linda Caicedo, in the 30th minute. Literally 2 minutes later, boom, another goal for Barcelona. uh, they pretty much got crushed. That must have hurt because it's like their biggest rivals, of course. Like it's a huge rivalry
And that goal
in
in
Spain.
particular, like getting one back instantly, and also by the defender who just looked like who really got cooked by Caicedo earlier. Because like when you watch the replay, first of all, Caicedo one hell of a game, but like the way she freaking body checks Caicedo just very slightly before the first goal. Um,
Oh yeah, that
like
that must have been unpleasant.
and like Paredes is one of the best defenders in the world, isn't she? And
Yeah,
but also like that mental strength of literally that same center back instantly reestablishing the old lead. What was it, 2 or 3 minutes later?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same thing about the second half. Again, the demolition continued, so to speak. Again, Pajor, and then the Spaniards in that team, like Vicky Lopez, Alexia Putellas, who is a legend, dare I say. They also like had goals to reach that 6-2. Um, Caicedo did another like pulled another goal for Madrid. They got a second goal, which you never know. It may be crucial. You never know. Maybe in the second leg, Madrid will pull out a miracle and like go to 4-0 and then go to extra time or
Do you think
something. But
so?
I think this is I no, not really. But you never know in football. This is why I love football because you truly, truly never know. But against that Barca side, I really don't think so. And against this particular um, team like this 11 of theirs with as I said, Puteas, Eva Pajor, Vicky Lopez also. They are part of an incredibly strong Spain squad. I watched them last summer at the Euros. They reached the final and they fought really hard. Some will say that England got really lucky like to
Yeah.
win in these finals. A lot of people
Some
thought that's
definitely would say that.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that Spain had to win this, like Spain had it in the bag. But yeah, so these girls are part of a, as I said, an incredibly strong Barcelona team. So um, there is quite a huge gap, in my opinion, over Real Madrid in Spain, but now in the Champions League when they
Yes.
matched up as well. Yeah,
Do
they are different levels, just different levels.
Do you know how old Vicky Lopez is?
She's quite young, isn't she? I don't know her
19.
exact age. Yeah, I know that she's pretty much a teenager. Yeah,
She is a teenager. But
yeah, incredible.
and Spain played Germany in the what was it, Nations League? And Vicky Lopez like scored an absolute screamer. And then
Yeah,
the friend I was watching it with like said like, you do know that she's a freaking teenager. It's insane. Like, but on both sides, like Linda Caicedo, who in all honesty was like the only thing that kept Real alive in this game. She's like also like what, 21 or something.
yeah. There, some of them are quite young. I think only Putellas is a bit older. I think from the Spaniards in these teams in Real and Barca.
Yeah, and Paredes.
Yeah, yeah.
But also with Caicedo, like to be 21 and carrying that offensive line, even if it's still they scored four less from Barcelona, obviously, but at that young age, and like the way she cooked Paredes before both goals, she freaking sent her packing her suitcase with the second one.
Yeah,
That is
definitely.
hella
That's
impressive. The thing is, like, Real have like one of those talismans in Caicedo, and Barcelona
mm,
stacked with those.
yeah. And to even think that Aitana is not there. Aitana is out injured, so I don't want to think if if Aitana was on the pitch yesterday. But she's, yeah, unfortunately sidelined with an injury. But if she was on that pitch, maybe it could have looked worse, maybe. Um,
Yeah, and also like even with this setup, I personally felt like Barcelona, particularly in the second half, they were like not on full, like not in fifth gear. Like if they would have wanted to, they could have like easily played a bit faster, a bit more efficient, like play their passes with a bit more sharpness. They just felt like it felt like in the first leg already they were coasting because also like next week they're gonna play in the Camp now.
we
Yeah,
shall see. Yeah, so I guess let's move over to the two games that we're gonna analyze more in depth, let's say, beginning with the London Derby, Arsenal Chelsea, which was the other day, so 2 days ago almost, which ended 3-1 to Arsenal, didn't it?
yeah,
This first leg, yeah. So Millie Bright, a huge figure, was missing for Chelsea for the guests. Hannah Hampton, who was pretty much the starting goalie in the Euros last year, she started in goal for Chelsea. She was injured, but that was her like only second Champions League start this season. Arsenal also had some missing figures. Steph Catley, who was away for the Asian Cup. Leah Williamson, who I think Leah Williamson struggled and struggles with injuries quite
yeah.
often
She's injured.
these days, which is, yeah, which is sad. Um, so both starting central backs were out for Arsenal. That was an interesting matchup because these are the reigning Champions League champs against the domestic league champs.
Yep.
So apart from a London derby, it's a derby on another level as well. So pretty much, yeah, 22nd minute, Blackstenius, the Arsenal forward, that happened after a free kick. Then 10 minutes later, who else? Chloe Kelly, a banger. Then, as we know, VAR is available for these games. 40th minute, there was a VAR intervention because of a foul. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the Chelsea goal was got disallowed.
Yep.
And then Alessia Russo towards the end of the second part, the second half. Alessia Russo made it 3-1. I think I missed who was the Chelsea goal scorer. Did I?
Lauren James got one back after a corner.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Yeah,
So this
I
pretty
forgot
much
that in my
very
notes.
shortly, yeah,
65th minute.
very shortly how the London Derby played out. I think you can give us more of a tactical explanation now on everything that went down on the pitch.
Yeah, first of all, I was delighted to hear that the broadcasters frequently brought up how many quality players are missing due to the Australians reaching the final of the Asian Cup. Australia mentioned. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was very interesting how Chelsea solved their number 9 issue because they have 4 strikers in their squad. All of them either injured or with Samantha Kerr out because of the Asian Cup. They
Mm.
had they opted for a striking duo with Lauren James and Alyssa Thompson, who like were playing in sort of a pendulum, like one being in the center and one shifting out on their respective wing. Thompson to the right when the attack was on the right for Chelsea, and same with Lauren James on the left. And they also like, and pretty early on you could see that Arsenal was surprised by that because both James and Thompson hit the post in the first 10 minutes. And also in the center, then it was the one who like replaced then the forward that got out wide was Sjöke Nüsken, who is not a nail down starter at Chelsea. Maybe Germans know her from her national team or her time at Eintracht Frankfurt. And like she was like supposed to get in those spaces with deep runs, which worked in the first half, but not really well in the second. Yeah. Then of course most Arsenal goal ever, scoring after a set piece. In general, many of those goals after set piece. I think the screamer of Lauren James after 65 minutes was after a corner. The 1-0 by Blackstenius was after a free kick. Um, and also the two the two goals that got disallowed for Chelsea. There was a second one which I like the international broadcast. I think the commentator claimed that it was a karate kick that Buchanan performed against Anneke Borb in Arsenal's goal.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? Because if they didn't get disallowed, pretty much the result of this derby would have been 3-3, which, wow.
Yeah,
But yeah, maybe talk a little bit about what did you think about VAR? Like, was it the two disallowed goals? Was it 100% correct decision, or what is your take on that?
Lucy Bronze had some very strong words after the match. I think the quote was, "Only the referee thought it was a foul, and none of the players." Which I can see. Like, I think that's definitely questionable, and Chelsea are allowed to feel pretty hard done by that decision. The second goal, I think, is very clear. Like the way that Buchanan rather recklessly enters the challenge against Arsenal goalkeeper Barber.
Yeah,
Um,
but you think the first one is a tiny bit questionable, huh?
yeah, you can definitely say that. Or like, would you
Mm.
disagree with that?
Uh, Not necessarily. I'm just thinking out loud because VAR as a system, it got introduced with the idea to clear out how to say, like, mistakes or like missed calls and stuff like that. But what I'm thinking is that sometimes in both men and women's football, I assume it creates even more debates. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like, instead of clearing out stuff, it creates even more debates. But yeah, that's just me. That's what I think.
I'm with you on that. But hey, the what was it? The committee IFAB have new rules now, which will totally make everything better overnight. This time, really.
Yeah. Do you think Lauren James was the key player for Chelsea? Was she the most decisive one in this tie for the Blues?
Yes, definitely. She was like very very sharp in her actions, very determined to do something in this match, and she did score that screamer from I would say like 22 meters out, which just in general one hell of a goal after the next. Like, yes, they were like from set pieces, but still like 22 meters out from Lauren James, and like that Chloe Kelly thunderclap from also like 20 meters or something out from the left channel. By the way, most Chloe Kelly performance didn't do like nowhere to be found for the majority of the game, but always there to this to score a really important goal.
Yes, she's that player, isn't she? Like even from the Euros last year, incredible. Like how she comes onto the pitch, makes this difference. Like it could be her only, not her only touch, but like her only proper touch, let's say, and she just makes that difference. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I think it's a very key player to have in your squad because she didn't used to be a starter, I think, for Arsenal in the Women's Super League in England. I think she was getting started from the bench a couple of times from what I've seen the past months. But she's
yeah,
just that player who can make that difference.
definitely. And I I've been watching football for what 16, 17 years. I've never seen a player that's this clutch. It's
Exactly, yeah.
completely insane.
I'm happy to see Lauren James like performing well because from what I remember from the Euros last summer, he he was there, but in my eyes, she didn't make. I think she scored one goal for the whole tournament or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But she didn't like particularly shine, in my opinion. For sure, she helped the team and like she played her part in England securing that title. But just in my eyes, she wasn't. I think all eyes were on Chloe Kelly anyways because she was
Yeah,
saving them game after game. But I'm happy to see Lauren James shine and get her moment. Even though like Chelsea lost, but the second leg you never know. It's at Chelsea, so maybe they'll turn it around or reach. I think in this game it's more possible for if Chelsea win 2-0 to reach at least extra time. We'll see. I think it will be quite interesting.
yeah. I mean, let's see like who of the centre backs on Arsenal side will be able to return
Hmm.
because Codina got subbed off at halftime because she got like a yellow card late in the half, and she really had her problems with Lucy Bronze and Alyssa Thompson because McCabe, who's like the left back, was pretty high up the pitch for most of the time, and Codina had to cover for her.
Mm,
And
yeah,
in general, like obviously, like her match ratings won't be that great since she didn't have a goal or assist. But Alyssa Thompson in this match really, I think, had a pretty good performance. I think 19 passes that got through in the opposition half alone. She
yeah,
like if some of the players like were more clinical in front of goal, if Zuko Nuskin maybe had like a bit more of match experience in the last couple of months. I know it's a coulda, woulda, shoulda, or like one of the strikers were available, one of the natural strikers that is. I think Alyssa Thompson could have easily had an assist or two. Um,
yeah.
so that's like I would definitely watch out for her, and also Lucy Bronze. Like she
Oh,
had
good old Lucy Bronze. I love her.
yeah, I didn't notice her too much until the last 15 minutes hit, and then you could tell that she was almost playing hero ball with like one D pass after another, like hitting those inside diagonals, which for those who have a life, unlike me, is when someone from the fullback position plays a pass all the way to the striker. So quite long balls, but through stretching the pitch earlier, since it's from the fullback position out wide, there will mostly be a space available. We will
Yeah,
talk about
she's
that more in the
incredible.
Bayern match. And Lucy Bronze like tried those like twice in the end. She had like quite a few dribblings. Like she was determined to do something.
Yeah, I think she always is, and this is what I love about her. I love her as a player. She has this like fighting spirit. She doesn't give up, and as you said, like try to create chances and everything, even from the back. So kudos to Lucy Bronze. I'm probably a bit biased, but I really really like her.
Yeah, she's like also I think a great leader for this rather young team on Chelsea's
Oh yeah,
side.
for sure. for sure.
And
Yeah.
that's like one of the
Um,
best like leaders by example you can have in world's football currently, I believe.
yes, I agree completely, 100%. Maybe we can mention Alessia Russo, which according to one of the like bigger live score apps, is woman of the match with 8.5 rating um, for Arsenal. That is.
Yeah. That goal of
Mm,
hers is, I think, the perfect encapsulation of how to exploit the very popular like I guess woman marking in in football.
mm-hmm,
Because like a few years ago, like it was like all about zonal defending, like protecting, like splitting the pitch up into zones and having one player in those at all times. Like Guardiola loves to do that. And more recently, some teams introduced like good old man to man pressing, and because like it was new, like they most teams like didn't know what to do, how to counteract that, and it's at a point where like it's gotten very popular, and like now the big teams use it because obviously when you can like just send plays on into 1v1s over the entire pitch, the team with a better plays will most likely persevere. And you can see how to exploit that in that goal of Russo's. McCabe vertical pass into the center to Blackstenius, who was starting in the left channel, as well as Russo, which like isn't an ideal situations when you've got like both players on basically the same spot, but they played it out really well because Blackstenius then like moved towards the center, and in that moment, like all Chelsea defenders only looked towards the ball, and all like made that one step or two to Blackstenius, who then just squared it to Russo, who just needs two contacts to instantly finish. And you can see in the replay that Bros recognized that, but because like she's the fullback and out wide, she sprints towards the center and is just one step too late. Um, but all that room that Russo's got, like you cannot give that to her.
yeah, yeah. Russo is really, yeah, I think in some cases pretty underrated. This is not to say that I'm thinking currently of how I think she was second to Aitana Bonmati for the like the Golden Ball, Ballon d'Or. Like she was really close to getting that award. She's a really, really good player. I think this is not to say again, I'm saying that Aitana did not deserve it, but to see that Russo was up there in the top three with her, that's quite the recognition that she deserves, I think.
Yeah, that was her eighth goal of a Champions League campaign, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
Incredible. I think
that's
I
ridiculous.
hope yeah, I hope, truly hope for her that she gets that Ballon d'Or next campaign, like next year. I think she deserves it. Some may argue because she's a forward, like she plays as a forward most times and scores goals, but it definitely would not be undeserved if she got the next Ballon d'Or, especially with Aitana injured like half this
Yeah,
season now
in
already. So excited
interest.
to see how this will pan out next year.
Yeah, interestingly enough, like the Ballon d'Or jury favors like central or offensive midfielders in the women's game with like Bonmati and Putellas, and
I've noticed, yeah,
favors the attacking winger or like goal scorer from the wing in the men's game. Funnily enough, like when you look at like how many like Ballon d'Ors like Messi and Ronaldo won it that day, and like Usman Dembele won it fairly recently.
yeah.
Most
Okay, so Manchester United, Bayern Munich. Let's give a quick rundown for our listeners on that one. Bayern were missing their talismanic figure, Clara Buell. She's out injured, muscle injury, unfortunately. So first goal was really quick, in the second minute. We have a saying in Bulgarian, which is my native language, and we say like goal from the changing rooms. I don't know if you know anything like that, but like that's what we call like very quick goals like this one. in the
In Deu-
first or second minute.
in Germany, you say starting like the fire brigade, which is why I wrote that down in the doc.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, every language, the beauty of languages, but yeah. So this very quick goal, Pernil Harder, he is, I think, one of Bayern's like key figures, really good player.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, Maya Letizier, she got one back for United. Around 20 minutes later, it was a penalty was awarded to them. The captain, Letizier, she converted it. So first half ended 1-1. Pretty much that was it for the first half. But then, but then, in the second one, so actually there was not that much of action because the second goal for Bayern, which is the second Pernil Harder goal, came into the 71st minute, which is quite late into the second part of the game, the second half.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was 2-1 to Bayern. Then Lundqvist, 5 minutes later, they were just like um, getting goals, like one would score and then the other one. So that was the 2-2 for United, Lundqvist. And then the final goal for Bayern, which was the 3-2. That was Tanikawa. That was again Bayern came in front. Tanikawa reestablished Bayern's lead. That was the final goal of the night. As um, I was thinking, quite a fun game because a lot of goals, like 5 goals in total. So yes, give us the juicy details then, the tactical juicy details.
It's like you said, like Bayern started out really early, and with a sort of like pattern you saw multiple times that evening. So first one was long ball. Oh God, I believe it was Cat. For Harder, and you can see, talking about player marking, you can see how Linda Dahlmann, who's like a few meters behind Penel Harder, like elects not to go in deep, but to like instead do a horizontal run to basically clear the way for Harder, so that she's only got Letizier and Van Bergoli to beat. Generally, like good build up from United side. Like Bayern didn't wasn't like very effective for the entire rest of the first half. Like solid, like free to build up, like three in the back, two on the pivot. Um, yeah, what I thought was really interesting is that Schüller, Schüller cannot buy luck at this point. Like she's only scored once since her move from Bayern to United in January. But I thought she was like really well integrated on a tactical level because you could see how the players like try to find her behind the back line and make space for her. And like her and Mallet had like quite a bit of positional change going on. Mallet cutting in from the left wing and Schiller going out wide, and therefore dragging out the Bayern centre backs out of position. And you could also see that just before the pen, where Schiller goes in deep on the right hand side, and two United players like keep four players of Bayern, Gilles, Stanway, Ket, and Simon all occupied, which are the left pivot player, the left winger, the left back, and one of the centre backs, all just covering Miyazawa and Park. And the entirety of the right channel was unoccupied then, and yeah, then obviously United get lucky with a handball, but I thought that movement was just really good. And then, like you said, like nothing happens, and then enough for free matches.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the second half, that was I think I don't know if anyone like saw it coming that um four, not like three actually more goals would be scored like in such short of a time. I guess like in 20 minutes, the
Yeah,
last 20 minutes of the game.
I watched the first half at a friend's, and then the second half at home, and it took me more than the half time. And you were a few minutes ahead of me, and you texted me, "Oh, it's 2-2." And
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
I was literally just like in the dark days of like 60 something
Mm.
something minute, and for like the last 20 minutes nothing happened here. How? And
Football, that's football for you.
yeah, and I believe that Tanikawa's sub in like did quite a lot. Like you could see that aforementioned inside diagonal of hers, like she drops out very wide just before the second goal, before she sends in Penel Harder, who then also confirmed in the post match that this was like something that Bayern wanted to exploit. United's high line, and that they sometimes there's quite a gap between either the center backs because they have to cover in for like an attacking fullback, or because just the center backs being apart even when they're all in the back four. And that's like how she scored both her goals, basically.
Mm. Yeah. How do you see the second leg of that one?
Ah, it's gonna be a close one. Um,
Yeah, I think so too.
I really want to say that Bayern can win this because I think you could see that just the team cohesion was just better, and also like they all like knew what the plan of the other 10 players were on the pitch. Like it was always very clear. Like it really ran like a well-oiled machine, even though I believe that United's got the better players. Like
Yeah,
for
that's
example,
quite interesting. Yeah.
also like Bayern like had a good plan A, but I believe they got lucky late on when they subbed off Schiller, and Malar was then leading the line as a center forward. She
Mm.
had like quite a different style. You can see that on her pass map on SofaScore. She instead of Schiller, she tried like dropping him a bit deeper and then like sending on like those subbed in runners on either wings and try to send them deep with passes. Where Bayern were really like good in terms of tracking back and making sure that none of those passes, or like not a lot of those passes, reached their target.
Yeah.
But like it was all rather close, and also I wouldn't count on Rolfö having a second game where she was really the weak point of the side, because we've
Mm.
all seen like Rolfö in like the past years for Barcelona, where a market
Yeah.
opportunity opened then for United last summer, because Barcelona cannot freaking work with money at all.
Mm. Yeah.
And I was like surprised that she both played as like a touchline hugger, so like
Mm.
overlapping instead of like dropping into the center in build up play. Because a few times she was there, I thought she did a pretty good job, and so there are like a few tactical switches that United can do and really switch up things. And I do believe that like Clara Bühl missing, that is like the main player of Bayern. So
Yeah. But also Pernille Harder in what she did. She's woman of the match for sure.
obviously.
Yeah, she's an amazing player as well. Also, very experienced. I think it's worth mentioning also Georgia Stanway, who used to be in Manchester City for a long time. So the city rivals of United. I'm pretty
Hello?
sure she.
You're not
Yeah,
there anymore.
Georgia Stan. No, you can hear me. Wait, can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, we're oh crap ass Wi-Fi. Cut this out. Okay, Georgia Stanway. So Georgia Stanway used to be in Man City for quite a long time. Uh, so I think she's pretty familiar with United's game. What did you think about her performance yesterday? I think she's like a hidden gem, so to speak, in Bayern's team because maybe she can give insight on. She's played United probably quite a few times, and also she's English, so she's friends and like um co-workers kinda in the England national team with a lot of the girls in United. So I think she has quite a bit of insight, Georgia Stanway. Do you think?
It will certainly make the like analysis before the matches easier. Like when it's one thing like watching videos of your opposing players, but when you've been literally training with them, I believe um, like a thing or two more about their movements. You'd also see that with Schiller, I think,
Yeah,
because like she knew when the spaces are gonna open.
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought Stanway's
That's
role was pretty interesting because she dropped deep quite a few times in the build-up plays. So that in the like Bayern also build up in a free up the back to have a pivot, and she sometimes even dropped back to the pivot. From the pivot, I mean to the center back position. Very rarely made mistakes. 92% passing accuracy. Um, yeah, and by the way, her pivot partner got quite a bad rating on the only freaking platform that provides data for women's football nowadays, Armani. But I thought that was her first freaking appearance in the Champions League, and I thought she did a pretty amazing job, like amazing off the ball movement, the way she kept some of the United players occupied, whilst other Bayern players, like for example, Aket, Dahlmann, or Harder, went deep.
mm, yeah.
And also, she had like a pretty good, she had pretty good passing stats. Like, she's completed every single pass in her own half, and only had like 3 failed passes, which were all like in the less relevant part, as I would argue, it being in the opposition's half. Like 36 out of 39 passes, that's like a pretty good completion rate.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like a 90% maybe. I don't not the best at math, but mm,
Give me a
pretty good.
second. 92%, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was sure it's above 90. So yeah, yeah, that's good. What did you think about Gwyn, Julia Gwyn? She has quite a low rating from the ratings that we're looking at here, 6.0.
She didn't have like the best of her games, but still, like even the you could see like all the tactical knowledge like a player like this possesses. Like she had pretty good off the ball movement. I remember a Dahlmann shot where Gwyn overlaps her in the final third, and in that moment, both of the United players only look out for Gwyn's run, and none of them cover Dahlmann. And just in general, like not the most like they did a pretty good job like occupying her, but I think like even they like she still had quite a bit of value for the team, even though like it like doesn't appear on like counting stats, so to speak.
Yeah.
Who I think had a pretty good game was the left back of United, Hannah Lundqvist. Like
Oh yeah. She got a goal.
not only because of her goal, like that
Mm.
obviously also amazing, but won every but one of her duels, won the ball back 4 times out of 4 defensive actions, 2 out of 2 tackles, and then also yeah, getting the goal back. I think that was quite a good game of her in a United side that didn't look in control an awful lot of times.
Hmm.
Like this United side looks like an awful lot of individual brilliance, but not like the best unit, which I discussed with Bayern earlier.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. To be fair, I also think Bayern have this in the bag, even though, as I said earlier, and as I always say, football can like surprise you in many ways. And many times, like the visually worst team, let's put it that way, goes through. I think I think a lot of people felt that way with what we mentioned earlier about Chloe Kelly and England.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. I think this will also be a close one. I think if you don't have anything else to add about this game, maybe a few final remarks I can make. Or do you have anything to add?
Maybe that it was interesting that like whilst all the other players from who were involved in the Asian Cup final, so either Japan, Australia, were missing in like all ties. I think the only one who like made an appearance on the first night, and that was only on the bench, and like she didn't get subbed in, was
Mm-hmm.
Carpenter. But Tanikawa like had a like impact the second she stepped on the pitch for Bayern. Like both her assists, like I mentioned, the inside diagonal to Harder with the second goal, and then scoring the third one in a move that's also just tactically on such a high level, because they also have that like cat stretches up the pitch wide, and Tanikawa then has basically no oppositional player, and then to be fair, who was it that slipped? One of the number six players from United, I think Olmo, um, unfortunately slipped, but like the way she just finds pockets of space in the oppositional
Mm-hmm.
box where they shouldn't be was, I think, quite remarkable. And if she can go the whole 90 minutes in the reverse fixture, then that will give United one more thing to worry. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think that Bayern will persevere.
I think so as well, but let's see. You never know. In the United side uh is not bad as well. Like
Yeah.
objectively speaking, not sure where Ella Toon was. Do you know anything? Is she out injured? Because Ella Toon is quite a solid player for United, and she was also part of that England team that got the Euros.
I've
But
got
uh,
nothing in my notes about her.
Not sure. Probably she's. Let me see if she was on the bench. No, she wasn't on the bench. Probably she's out injured. Yeah, most likely. Um, but yeah, so Ella Toon is a player who can make the difference. But if she's like injured, maybe she will not see her next week as well. But yeah, yeah, you never know. I think what I was gonna say earlier, like in general about all four ties that happened this week in the Women's Champions League, maybe excluding the El Clasico one, Real Madrid Barcelona, they are quite close. Even Arsenal Chelsea, even despite the fact that Arsenal won 3-1, I think next week we can expect some great duels.
Yeah, totally.
um, yeah, you never know. Honestly, for example, I don't think Arsenal fully have this in the bag, like Barca do, for example. Like I think about Barca.
Yeah,
I think they need
I
to
agree with you.
be on the lookout, yeah, next week, especially because it's Chelsea will be hosting. So yeah, it will be on their own stadium. A lot of factors.
Yeah. I'm pretty interested in seeing like all the new ways that the teams will find to exploit the player marking defending, because I think we've seen quite a bit of that happening in these ties. Like that, I think what was like a thing that only United did was like dribbling more from the fullback position, and just in
Hmm.
general, what like is a general trend in football, but I think it was really noticeable here, like how many goals were scored as a result of set pieces.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting one. I think set pieces were most we most talked about in the London derby,
Yeah,
didn't we?
which is quite
But
ironic given how like the current male Premier League is decided basically on good defending and set pieces.
yeah, I that's a very interesting point. I guess football in a country, no matter the gender, I guess men or women, they it has some similarities. Quite an interesting point that we can observe.
Yeah,
I assume that, for example, the Bayern women's team, take a lot of examples from the general Bundesliga style play, or like the men's team. Probably with similar patterns can be observed, I assume, if one looked closer.
yeah. I mean, football's like such a broad ecosystem. Like the access to games is has gotten comparatively speaking so easy when you've got the money. That if you have the money, then like you can see like matches from all over the world, and obviously also across genders. So like tactical trends like will emerge, if a tactical trend will emerge on either side of the game. Is that a good good use of that saying. Um, like it will get noticed by like the analysis team.
Agreed. Yeah. I think we're in for a treat next week. And I think that's probably how we can end today's episode, our
Yeah,
pilot episode. So exciting. We've broken down these first legs. We talked a lot in detail. Thank you so much for providing the tactical insight as well
my
and
pleasure. I hope I didn't
statistical.
yap too much.
Mhm. Now the big question is who will get the job done in the second legs, and that's what we're gonna find out in a week, I think, together.
Yeah,
So make sure to tune in next time. We'll be reacting to the results. We'll be reacting to the semi-finalists because we'll already have the confirmed semi-finalists for this year's Women's Champions League.
what do you predict, Rumi?
And for who will be
Yeah,
semi-finalists. Yeah, let's do our predictions. So mine are Barcelona, Bayern. The Arsenal Chelsea is super tough. I truly have no clue how this one will come through. And then possibly Lyon, Olympique Lyon. But the Arsenal Chelsea, I truly cannot say. I have no idea. But yes, this is my
ah,
incomplete predictions. What about yours?
I'm so boring. I'm just because I'm gonna stick with the same ones as you. I will say Arsenal in the London derby.
Okay, yeah, perhaps with now they have a bit of leverage, but you never know. Yeah, well, we you could have said the opposite teams for there to be a bit more spicy, like duel between us. But yeah,
Mm.
we're boring like that. We share the same opinion. But let's see if these teams will maybe prove us wrong. So tune in to find out, exactly a week from now. Yeah, if you enjoyed our football yapping and this episode, follow, share, um, just in general, enjoy. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. This was Charlie and Rumi tuning out now.
Bye bye.